We're going to talk about factoring by GCF in 5 minutes or less. So let's try factoring 6x squared minus 21x. So you want to look for a GCF, which means you're going to look for a number that evenly divides all the coefficients and the most number of variables you can pull out of both terms. Notice that both 6 and 21 are both evenly divisible by 3. Also, both terms have an x, so I can factor out an x from both terms. So that means that I'm going to divide every term in this binomial by 3x. So I have 6x squared over 3x minus 21x over 3x. So when I do that, I have 3x times 6 divided by 3, which is 2, x squared over x, which is just x, minus 21 over 3, which is 7, and then x and x will cancel itself out. So we have 3x times 2x minus 7. So we can also factor trinomials. Let's look at 7x to the fourth plus 21x cubed plus 35x squared. All of the coefficients are evenly divisible by 7. Also, all of these terms have at least 2 x's in them, so I can also factor out an x squared. So I'm going to do 7x to the fourth divided by 7x squared plus 21x cubed divided by 7x squared plus 35x squared divided by 7x squared. So that's going to leave me with 7x squared times 7 and 7 cancel. X to the fourth over x squared is x squared. Plus 21 divided by 7 is 3. X cubed over x squared is just x. Plus 35 divided by 7 is 5. And x squared cancel each other out. So this is the factored form of this trinomial. So we can also combine this with the factoring when a is 1 and a is not 1 that we previously talked about. So let's look at this trinomial. Notice that all of these coefficients are evenly divisible by 2. So I can go ahead and do 2 times 2x squared divided by 2 minus 6x divided by 2 minus 20 divided by 2. So when I do that, that leaves me with 2 times 2 and 2 cancel, and I have x squared minus 6 divided by 2, which is 3, and then x minus 20 divided by 2, which is 10. So now notice that I have a, b, and c, where a is equal to 1. So I can just look at the factors of c, which is negative 10, that are going to add up to b, which is negative 3. So when I do that, I'm going to list out the factors of 10, which are 1 and 10, 2 and 5, and now I need to figure out the signs. Notice that c is negative and also b is negative. So that means that I'm going to make my bigger factors all negative. So 10 is negative, 5 is negative. 1 plus negative 10 is negative 9. 2 plus negative 5 is negative 3, so the correct combination is 2 and negative 5. So this now in factored form is going to become 2 times x plus 2 times x minus 5. Remember, when you write your final factored form, always you need to include the GCF. So let's look at 15x squared minus 42x minus 9. Notice that all of these coefficients are evenly divisible by 3. So I'm going to go ahead and factor out a 3. So that means I have 15x squared divided by 3 minus 42x divided by 3 minus 9 divided by 3. So when I do that, I have 3 times 15 divided by 3, which is 5, and then I have x squared, 42 divided by 3, which is 14, and then I have x, minus 9 divided by 3, which is 3. So now 5 is a, 14 is b, and c is negative 3. So my a times c is going to be 5 times negative 3, which is negative 15. So I'm going to look for 2 factors of negative 15 that are going to add up to b, which is negative 14. So I'm going to start off by listing out the factors of 15, which are 1 and 15, and 3 and 5. So 15 is negative, and also my b is negative, so that means my bigger factors are all going to be negative. 1 plus negative 15 is negative 14, and so that is the correct pair that we need. So I'm going to write this now. I'm going to work on this trinomial. So I have 5x squared minus 15x plus 1x minus 3. So when I put my terms into 2 groups, I have 5x squared minus 15x and then plus 1x minus 3. The GCF of the first pair is 5x, so I'm going to go ahead and divide that out from both terms. And so I have minus 15x divided by 5x. And so that leaves me with 5x times 5 over 5 cancels, and x squared over x is just x. Minus 15 over 5 is 3, and then x and x cancel. From the second pair, I can't factor out anything except a 1. So I'm just going to go ahead and divide both terms by 1, which is going to leave both terms unchanged. So I have 1x over 1 minus 3 over 1. So that's just going to be plus 1 times x minus 3. So this factored form is going to be x minus 3 times 5x plus 1. And remember, I always need to include my GCF in the front.